Toyota Supra, Nissan GTR, Dodge Hellcats, and even the Ford Mustang. These are all cars that typically a younger man such as myself would aspire to, right? Like these are cars that you would want to one day own. These are cars that you have posters of, cars that you would play in games like Forza, Need for Speed, so on and so forth. But at a certain point, every enthusiast will hit the age where all these dream cars, they just stay dreams, because you have a family now, you have responsibilities, things to do. Your wife will be nagging you like, oh, there's no space for this, there's no space for that. So what kind of cars would you come to at that point, right? Obviously, you can't be thinking about two-door coupes anymore. So what will you be thinking of? Well, I think one very good example in a very good price range is definitely this one, the Mitsubishi Xpander. Now, this is a 7-seater MPV, and this car is one of the most practical cars that you can think of, oh my, at this price range. Because if you just notice that there was a divot in the road earlier and the car kind of slanted in, see, no Supra, no Hellcat would be able to take all that. So you need a car that can actually handle the day-to-day, that can take bumps, that can travel with your entire family in tow. A car that is not just practical but also comfortable, because at some point you're not going to care too much about speed, handling, and all these other things. You just want something that can comfortably and reliably get you from point A to point B with your family, your passengers, whoever else you might want to be carrying with you. Oh, never mind. So this car does that very well, in my opinion, because it's very simple. All the materials are super simple as well. The system right here in front with this infotainment, it's also very simple. It doesn't fuss. It doesn't try to do 100 different things at once. It doesn't try to be something it's not. It just gets the job done in a simple and reliable manner. And at that point in your life, when you just want something simple and reliable, this is exactly what you will want, because it just gets the job done without any fuss, without any kerfuffle. And that is truly, at the end of the day, a different kind of peace of mind, one that you can't really get from very high maintenance sports cars and things like that. Hello girls and boys, welcome back to DSF. My name is Logan, and today we are here with the all-new Mitsubishi Xpander Plus, because yes, if you remember correctly, the newest version of the Xpander now comes in two variants here in Malaysia. This is the slightly more expensive variant, the top spec, if you will. But the thing that I like most about this car is that it's very simple. It's simple, straightforward, to the point, gets the job done, low cost to run, low maintenance. It doesn't fuss about, it doesn't try to be something it's not. It knows what it is, and I appreciate that, because the Mitsubishi Xpander may not be everyone's cup of tea, right? You're not going to see someone putting a Mitsubishi Xpander poster on their wall like you would, say, a Nissan GTR, for example. No. People don't idolize these kinds of cars. But when you hit a certain point in life, this is actually the best kind of car anyone could think of, especially for the price. Because if you remember correctly, the Mitsubishi Xpander, regardless of spec, is still slightly below 100,000 ringgit. So that is very good. And the closest competitor you can think of now, say, considering things like the Honda BR-V and all of that are no longer being sold here in Malaysia, is only the Nissan Serena. And that car is a whole 60 to 70,000 more than this. For that money, you can buy this and a Myvi. So if you are obviously on a tight budget, or if you're on a constraint, so on and so forth, this is definitely the best option. And let me show you why. First things first, simple design, but very stylish. You've got the dynamic shield grille, which is what Mitsubishi's design language is. You've got your DRLs, your headlights, You've got your vents, nice big Mitsubishi logo up front. And I personally love the black color. I like black and gray on most cars because they just look good on any car. But of course, you know, Mitsubishi also has that red color for those of you who prefer a more boisterous look, right? So other than that, you'll see very minimal in the way of safety, like you can see here, tow hook there. So, and yeah, this does only come with 2 airbags, but you know, for the price, you really can't complain. And then off to the side, you'll notice strong haunches here, nice two-tone rims, all right, this silver and black motif. The wheels don't look that big, so you can upsize them if you want, of course, because like there's a lot of space down here. Over to the side, you'll see your chunky wing mirrors with a camera because yeah, it does have very, very basic ADAS features. You've got your door handle here with the button and the key, and then you've got your back door to show you your second row and third row seats. And then off to the back, nice sporty spoiler, which is not really an addition anyone would think to add to a car like this, but Mitsubishi did, and that's a great thing because you don't have to go, you know, the whole soccer mom motif. You don't have to commit to that all the way. You can drive a MPV like this, a minivan if you will, but still have some sporty elements to it to remind yourself that you are still an enthusiast. Okie dokie. So again, you don't get automated tailgates, right? Like for the price, you can't really complain once again because this is more than practical enough. And you can see that there is quite a bit of usable space here. Mitsubishi already left us some stuff to show you just how much space you have. You've got your booklets and all over here. You've got another compartment over here, and you can see with the third row folded down, this is actually a lot of space. You can pack like all your camping essentials for a barbecue, for a picnic, for a family getaway, you know, and that is fantastic. So if you have maybe just 1 or 2 kids and you don't really need to bring anyone else like your elderly parents or your maids or whatnot, then with the third row seats folded down, you have a lot of space. And even without that, you can see here that you've still got pretty much a lot of usable space. This is about the equivalent of a A or B segment hatchback already, right? So it's still pretty good. And you've also got underfloor compartments here to make it even more practical. And that is the word you think of, right, when you want to talk about the Mitsubishi Xpander: practicality and space. Because let's be very honest here, that is mainly the only thing that this car has going for it, and that's why it is so popular among enthusiasts and non-enthusiasts alike, because despite not really being the sportiest or the flashiest or the fastest, it does practicality and space very well. And for those buying in this segment, you really only want practicality and space above everything else. So the Mitsubishi Xpander delivers, which is why it managed to sell about 100,000 almost units in its previous form. So how many units can it sell this time? We'll have to wait and see. But while we wait and figure that out, let's check out the inside as well. All right, so inside the Mitsubishi Xpander, you'll notice everything is just, you know, normal. It's very plain, it's very simple. You've got a mirror here on your passenger side, but you don't get one on the driver's side. You've got some vents here that help take air from here, the aircon vents here, and transfer it back here so that your second row and third row passengers don't feel warm. But the layout is very simple. Look at that, hard plastics. And then this top spec, of course, you get leather seats, but in the base spec, you get fabric. Everything is just very simple, but very practical. Look at that, very large glove box right here. More storage space over here, simple aircon controls, simple instrument panel over here. It's not fully digital. There is like a small digital screen right in the center, but you got 2 analog dials on either side of that. You got very minimal buttons here, your cruise control, your phone and pick up and hang up buttons. You've got 12-volt sockets here, USB ports here. You've got a wireless charging pad here, 2 cup holders, and a very simple gear selector. The one thing that does stand out is this parking brake switch. So I would have assumed a traditional parking brake lever, but they gave it a switch. This is the one modern thing in this car that is truly modern. And again, coming back to this central infotainment screen right here, you'll notice it's very simple, it's very to the point, which again means low running costs, low maintenance. So you never have to really worry because it doesn't have like a ton of features that can really trip you up and confuse you. It's just meant to do its job. The way Mitsubishi designed this car is really just, I want to get the job done as quickly and efficiently as possible. I don't really care about looking flashy. And that is definitely a good thing. Well, depending on the person, right? Because to me especially, I really don't like having flashy things if they don't really serve a proper function, or if they make the function they're supposed to serve more difficult. Now that's just a pain in the neck for me, because I want to get the job done too. I don't care about looking flashy, I just want it to do the job right. And speaking of which, you've also got a nice big deep central cubby right here. So again, it just does the job very well. It's fully practical, and I will show that to you as we go into the second and third row seats now as well. So come along. So you've seen already that I've set this to my driver position up front. I'm 173 centimeters tall, just in case you were wondering. And even with that, ample knee room. Look at that. So much space. Headroom even. Look at this. Huh? 2, 3, practically 3 whole fistfuls of space. And this can go even a bit to the front if you need it, like for example, okay. And even if I push it all the way to the front, I've still got very good knee room, I've still got very good headroom. And this is just an added creature. Oh, it can even go further back, you see. So this will really help the third row passengers in case they are very tall or have very long legs. And again, I mentioned these aircon vents back here, right? These are very good because you can also control how much wind blows out of them. So they, while they do draw in air from the front, they also have their own air that they can push out as well. And that is a very good function, because in our Malaysian weather, whew, you're going to need all the cooling you can get. And of course, I can make it even more fun back here, because I can pull down this middle seat here to reveal 2 more cup holders, so I can use it as an armrest while we're just cruising around. And that is great, because you also got 2 USB ports back here, a type A and a type C. So you can always make sure that your kids' mobile devices are always charged up to the fullest. And there's also more space on the door card. Once again, the theme of practicality in the Mitsubishi Xpander, second to none. Let's prove that by going into the third row now. Okay, so let me show you how easy it is to get into the third row. You got a lever here, right? You just push it forward, one touch tumble. See, I just push the lever up once, and these seats fold right up. And then I can just crawl in. Let me just move our bags. There we go. And ta-da! You have nice space. And I wonder if these recline. There you go. These can recline too. So you can get a very comfortable seating position. It's not so upright. It's not so pushed forward that it makes you feel uncomfortable. And of course, once I put these back down, let's pull it back up. You can see that I still have very decent space here. Like, I don't have the best leg room, but I still have fantastic headroom. And even for a full-size adult like myself, I could definitely do long journeys on, like, in this third row. I wouldn't be complaining too much, right? Like, maybe not the longest journeys, maybe 2-3 hour drives, I would be fine. I would be genuinely fine back here. And I think most people around my size would be fine too. If you're just slightly bigger, so I think you'll be still fine back here. Only if you're a lot bigger than me, you know, 6 foot and above, yeah, you might struggle for space in the third row. But then again, the second row, first row, more than sufficient enough for people of that size. So that should sum up just why the Mitsubishi Xpander is so popular and practical. Because for the price of below 100K, there's really not much else in this segment that can do the things that this Mitsubishi Xpander can do. Plus, it's a 1.5 engine, right? So your road tax is also low. So low running costs, low maintenance, low road tax, fuel efficient, very spacious, very simple, still has all the modern amenities you want. So really, there's nothing to complain about in this car. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're in the market and you want to consider the Mitsubishi Xpander or any of its rivals, let's say, go test drive all of them, because I have a feeling that when you drive the Mitsubishi Xpander, when you sit in the third row, you'll realize that there are some cars that just cannot compete.